right? So we go back to John Locke, and we go back to natural rights and natural law, right? Nature governs, right? Whether nature gives you gravity. If you tip the glass there, it's falling to the floor. You don't get to break the rule. That is just the rule. You have to comport yourself accordingly, knowing that there's a gravitational field in this room right now. You can't wish it away, right? A lawyer would like to wish it. You'd like to, if the politicians could pass a law, they'd pass a law suspending gravity rights, you know, for the time being in certain places. But you can't, as Elon Musk says, you don't get to break the laws of physics, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So Bitcoin starts with this ideology of the engineers, the scientists, the mathematicians, right? And we create a protocol. The protocol is, what if a bunch of smart people in the world, what if they wanted to keep their money? What if, or in this case, I gave you the example of the divine bank that God gave you, except if God's not going to set up divine bank and solve all your monetary problem, what's the second best idea? The second best idea would be a smart engineer takes advantage of semiconductors, the internet, and cryptography, and you create a system where 21 million Bitcoins circulate, subdividable by 100 million Satoshis each. That system is protected by public and private key cryptography. And should you actually have possession of the private key, you have control over your coins. That means that you've created a bank in cyberspace. Now imagine 100 rich families. They live all over the world. They all get together one day and they say, well, you know, God won't solve our problems for us, so we got to solve our problems ourselves. Let's go ahead and build out this Bitcoin network. And this is a bank, and we're all going to be able to deposit our money in this bank. Why? We don't trust the government. We don't trust a local bank. We don't trust each other. We don't, you know, and we want the bank to last for 1,000 years. Okay. Who's going to run the software? Well, the answer is everybody's going to run the software because I trust you, you trust me, but your idiot great-grandson I might not trust. Or maybe my idiot great-grandson might not get along with your idiot great-grandson. So, you know, and this is where history of science comes in. You know how we studied longitude? Or longitude was the breakthrough that gave the British control of the seas. And the Longitude Prize was instantiated by the Parliament. They offered £10,000 to whoever could figure out how to calculate longitude on the ocean. Every physics professor at Cambridge and Oxford tried it. They all failed. Every mathematician failed. They could not figure it out. A clockmaker by the name of John Harrison makes clocks. He solved the problem. Just like the Wright brothers figured out how to fly without the aeronautical engineering degree, the bicycle makers figured out how to fly. The clockmaker figured out how to solve the problem. He created a perfect clock. He gave you 2 clocks. And when you get in a British ship, you sail past Greenwich, which is where the Royal Observatory is. You set your first clock to Royal Observatory time, Greenwich Mean Time. That's where we got universal time. The second clock is set to local time. The ship sails to the West Indies. You look up, you figure out what high noon is. You compare the second clock to the first clock. You subtract 2 hours. You multiply by 15 degrees. You've got your longitude on the ocean. Now, what's the breakthrough? No one could make a perfect clock. How do I create a perfect clock? Because the metal in the clock expands and contracts. John Harrison created a perfect machine from imperfect materials. What he realized is, yes, the metal does expand and contract. We can't stop it from expanding and contracting with humidity and with temperature. What we can do is take 2 identical pieces of metal and put them in tension with each other. So this one is contracting the same amount that one is contracting. They actually compensate, neutralize each other, and you end up with a perfect machine. That is brilliant engineering, not through math, not through science, but through practical engineering. Harrison creates a perfect clock. The clock inadvertently gives us longitude. Longitude gives the British Navy command of the seas, and we're speaking English right now.
Right. Got it.
Satoshi has to create a perfect monetary network, and you got to create it with imperfect components. The imperfect components are the people, the governments, the actors, the computers. They're going to fail. What happens if the power goes out? What happens if that gets hacked? The answer is, I create a machine that's running the protocol. This one's running the protocol. This one's running the protocol. They're all running at the same time. They're all hashing in order to guess the answer that's required to build the next block. 1 out of 1,000,000 of these things will win. The entire thing is a fault-tolerant, shared nothing, mission-critical, nuclear-hardened system, because what is it? It's a virus, right? It's an internet virus, a monetary virus, an ideological virus, and everyone that chooses to run the node is feeding the network, participating in the network. All of the miners are defending the network. People will, but once you understand it like that, then you realize that what's going on with Bitcoin is a bunch of people with the same ideology. We just all like to keep our money.
Mm-hmm.
Running a protocol, have instantiated that protocol in software that runs on mobile phones, that runs on computers.
We should also say, it's not exactly that you want to keep your money. It's you want to keep the fruits of your labor, and you want to keep your reputation, and you want to do that over the longest amount of time possible with the least amount of parasitism and corruption manageable. And so, because when you say you want to keep your money, it's got that kind of evil capitalist ring to it. But if you spent your entire lifetime building up a storehouse of value, and you did that in a way that also brought prosperity to other people, it's only natural justice of the sort that keeps hardworking people working and everything abundant in order to not allow people like that to be parasitized and taken out.
If you would indulge me, this is where we should probably veer off into libertarian politics and philosophy.
Let's wait. Let's do that on the Daily Wire side, because we should bring this part to a close. Well, you had a good landing there with regards to, your summary of how Bitcoin worked, and all the things that we talked to culminated into that. And on the Daily Wire side, we'll talk about the relevance of this for young people. We'll talk about what you think is going to transpire in the next 5 to 10 years on the Bitcoin side, and we'll flesh out the libertarian discussion. But that's an excellent place to stop.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for the thorough investigation and explanation. And so we're going to continue on this road on the Daily Wire side for all of you watching and listening. And so you might feel inclined to attend to that so that we can delve into this. I want to hear Michael's thoughts on, what's going to happen in the next 5 years and what you should do if you're young, concretely speaking. And so join us there. Thank you, everyone here today in Scottsdale, film crew. And thank you very much for showing up and talking. It's been a real pleasure and very informative, that's for sure. So thanks, everybody. We'll see you on the Daily Wire side.
이걸로 총 1시간 27분 24초짜리 영상의 번역과 정리를 모두 마쳤습니다. 세상엔 10억 달러, 한화로 약 수천억 원이 넘는 자산을 가진 사람을 억만장자라 부르는데요. 미국 뉴욕의 유명한 부동산 중개인 라이언 서한트는 15년 동안 억만장자 94명을 직접 만나면서 한 가지 흥미로운 사실을 알게 되었다고 해요. 그들은 전화를 받기보다 문자를 더 선호했는데 그 이유는 돈의 가치를 누구보다 잘 알고 있을 뿐 아니라 무엇보다도 시간의 가치를 정확히 이해하고 있었기 때문이죠. 왜 갑자기 이런 이야기를 하냐고요? 영상의 마지막 마이클 세일러는 조던 피터슨에게 이렇게 인사를 전합니다.
Thank you for your
time. 저 역시 같은 마음으로 이 말을 전하고 싶습니다. 여러분의 귀한 시간을 내어 이 영상을 끝까지 함께 해주셔서 진심으로 감사드립니다. 앞으로 시간이 지나 다시 봐도 1배속으로 천천히 봐도 아깝지 않은 영상들을 만들겠습니다. 그리고 단순한 번역을 넘어 영어 공부에 진짜 도움이 되는 사이트로 발전시켜 나갈 생각입니다. 여러분의 댓글 하나하나 정말 큰 힘이 됐습니다. 그리고 좋아요와 구독을 눌러주신 64분 모두에게 진심으로 감사드립니다.